Think of covering sport, no matter what the sport might be, and Keith Hillier certainly did that last Sunday in Tokyo. Magnificent race, huge crowd, very emotional race, I felt, from everybody's point of view. Keith, naturalism just failing, Let's Elope unfortunately bleeding, Mick Dittman producing one of the great rides. What a day it was.
Yes, put all that together and that's exactly what the Japan Cup turned out to be, Bruce. We knew beforehand it was going to be an exciting race. 4 Derby winners and some of the best performed horses in the world. And on the day we saw a very good Japanese horse that won the race, ridden a very good race by the best rider in Japan. And we saw a very brave Australian horse, Naturalism, ridden a perfect race by Mick Dittman, gallant in defeat.
He was. The horse was quite magnificent. Mick's joined us this morning from the Gold Coast. Mick, thanks for your time. It was one of your absolute gems, no question about that. In fact, Keith rang me on Sunday night from Japan, so excited about your ride. The horse himself, did you feel going into the race with the hoof problem that he was going to be very much disadvantaged?
Well, I was worried early in the morning. Lee was quite worried about him. But, you know, once I got onto the track, he seemed to warm up okay. You know, I suppose when you think back, it would have to make a difference because he was quite lame early in the morning. But he raced very good. Like, I think the last half of the race, he really put his best foot forward. He really tried his best. But early in the race, he was just a little bit hesitant to get mobile, so it'd have to make some difference.
What a difference one night made, Mick, because on Japan Cup Eve, the whole camp, yourself and Lee Friedman, were really super confident, weren't you? When did you find out, when you went to the track the next morning, that there was a problem?
Yes, well, I think we arrived at the course about 11 in the morning and walked down to the stables to have a look at the horse. And as soon as I saw Lee's face, I knew something was amiss. But they had him all taped up and they'd changed his shoe, but he'd had a crack in the heel and, you know, apparently the shoe was putting a fair bit of pressure on it. But he was lame right up until probably only a couple of hours before he went to the races. And
it's extraordinary, isn't it? Quite unbelievable that the horse could run so well with such a setback. Mick, let's go through the race. You drew a good barrier, you're in the middle. The winner, as it turned out, drew the outside barrier, just like his side did, Simboli Rudolph. Got a good jump. Were you in the perfect spot all the way for you?
Yes, I thought he might be a little closer, but he was a little bit hesitant to get mobile early. I think by the time they went out of the straight the first time, he'd sort of crossed just behind the favourite, User Friendly, and he was getting a lovely run, only about one off the fence, and he started to sort of move into the race probably around about the 6 furlong mark. He started to travel properly.
We're just leaving the straight, Mick, and you're in the familiar naturalism colours with the yellow cap, and you're running about 6th or 7th at this stage. The pace seemed to be pretty solid. User Friendly never really settled, did she? We're seeing her at the moment. She seems to pull the jockey high in the irons there, and there you are, Mick, one off the fence. Good steady pace. Is the tempo any different to a major race here in Australia?
Well, they run their races pretty quickly, Bruce, and this race was no exception. You know, from the 6 furlong mark, they were going. There was plenty of pace on. User Friendly does race with her head up in the air a little bit. She's an awkward sort of a goer, but obviously very good, though.
We saw some surface water there on the dirt track, Mick. What about the course proper? Was it patchy also? It was officially rated heavy. That's not a rating we would have used here, is it? No,
the track in our terms wouldn't have been heavy. They did have a couple of patches, a couple down the back straight mainly. They were a little bit soft, but basically the track was in good order.
And what about from a riding point of view, Mick? We ride very close in Australia, probably closer than they do anywhere in the world. What about when you get a bunch of international riders from right around the world? Is there any change here?
Our racing's very, very competitive. It's a picnic over there.
Really?
Picnic.
Mick, as you get to the home turn, there's an area of the straight, it's called Heartbreak Hill, a 2-metre rise. You steadied Naturalism there and you went when it started to level out.
Well, I was just in behind the leaders as they turned the corner, and I had to hope that the leader shifted off the rail or that I got a split. And it came at the right time. When he dashed through, I thought he was going to win, but the winner joined me on the outside reasonably quickly and looked to have something in hand. But he fought back very strongly, this horse, and it was only in the last 50 metres that he started to get the best of me.
Give yourself, so you're obviously within that final furlong, 200 metres, Mick, you fancied your chances right up until about 50 to go.
I thought with 100 metres to go that I'd kick back and beat him, but he just started to get the best of me in the last 50 metres of the race.
There's an amazing build-up, if I may say, Bruce, and to you, Mick, to the race. in the week before it, and it's race 10 on the card. Your emotions after the race?
Yes, well, it's an incredible day. It's very much like a Melbourne Cup, only, as you know, they have 11 races on the program, and they like you to get to the races very early. So the main race is about 4:20, I think, their time. So you get to the races about 10:30, 11 in the morning. So you go all day for this one ride, waiting around. A lot of pressure, especially when you feel and know that there's something amiss with the horse. But, you know, I was glad it was over. You know, it would have been lovely to win, but, you know, they're the breaks. You can't get them all.
Do you think it's one of your very best rides ever?
Well, I had a beautiful run. You know, you got to have luck in these big races, and I couldn't have saved any more ground. He was on the fence from the 6 furlong mark, and he just took every gap, and he tried his heart out. And, you know, it's a shame to get beaten when you see them get runs like that and try so hard.
Your answer to Bruce's question should have been a simple yes, Mick.
Yeah, it was, Keith, wasn't there? There's no question about that. Mick, there's lots of stories going around about your future at the moment, that Peter Chappell-Hyam, who's the trainer for Robert Sangster in Britain, wants your services next year. There's been some discussion. Is that a possibility? Could we see you riding for Robert Sangster in the Chappell-Hyam stable in Europe next year?
Well, it's not impossible, but we haven't sat down and discussed it in any detail as yet. Peter Chappell-Hyam is in Australia at the moment, and we'll probably have some talks over Christmas. He's coming up this way. You know, it's a possibility. English racing is something that I'd like to get involved in before I finish riding, and he's had a lot of success in a very short time, and I met him over there in Japan. He's a lovely bloke, so it's not impossible. We've got to have a talk to Adam Sangster, the son of Robert. You never know, we could get something organised.
All right, well, certainly you're leaving the door open. Yesterday's racing was pretty low-key. Stay with us, Mick, because a couple of these horses you know a fair bit about. Let's go to Perth firstly, Keith.
Bruce, if we may, as we leave Japan, acknowledge the performance of Let's Soleil.
Yeah, definitely, yes.
Because she bled, and that bleeding attack happened a long way from the post. She was gallant by finishing midfield.
7th, it's not a bad performance, is it? Right. And let's hope that let's hope she's okay firstly, and that if she does run again, she reproduces her best. She's the best mare I think we've seen for so many years. Let's go to Perth. This horse is now hot favourite for the Perth Cup. He was second last year, Red Javelin, and the horse running on Mirror Magic, this is a Towton Cup yesterday, won the Perth Cup last year. But gee, this is an impressive horse.
Onto the turn they race at the 500, and Mr. Raku and Red Javelin have both moved up to join Parsimo and Ursa Dream on the bend. Around the corner, Mr. Raku is just in front of Red Javelin. Now Laudanum wider, Parsimo gone, Real Equity back in the middle, and then Ursa Dream, Pradnapper, and Mirror Magic down the outside. At the 200, Albuino said go, and Red Javelin sprinted well clear of Real Equity, Laudanum, Mirror Magic right down the outside. But go the big red man. Red Javelin won by 3 or 4 lengths on Real Equity. Mirror Magical beat Laudanum out of third.
Well, very impressive. Mick, is there any chance that you'll go to Perth over the Christmas break and ride in any of those big races?
Only if they offer me the ride in Red Javelin in the Cup.
I wonder why. He did look very impressive, didn't he? There's nothing really in Sydney. Diego was pretty impressive in winning the Queensland. I don't think he's going there. Courchaban won very well while you were away, Keith. He was 13 to 8 on last week. And you're giving
Mick a list of options.
Yeah, Mick can take your pick, 3 or 4 of them. No, he's a pretty good horse, Red Javelin. He's going to be favourite. Let's go to Caulfield, because this is a pretty promising horse, Cogitate. He's now won 6 out of 10. This is the Amonis.
Something Wicked joined almost by Looks Great, a length and a half further back. Cogitate over on the inside of the Fount as they make the home turner. Beppy's boy is in behind them and turning for home now with about 400 metres left to go. Over on the inside, Something Wicked is being tackled. Over on the outside by Looks Great, and Cogitate looking for the run on the inside as they come to the 250. Cogitate finishing fast along the inside is the danger. It's coming at Looks Greater, and Something Wicked can't go on, followed by Sir Biduit, but Cogitate has taken the lead with 100 metres left to go. Main Strike is flashing down the outside, but Cogitate is too good. Cogitate by a length and a half. Looks Great third. I think Sir Biduit.
Well, first try for Cogitate at 1,400 metres. Now Quentin Scott, the trainer, thinks he might have a shot at the Doncaster, 1,600 metres.
Gee, it's a big rap, isn't it? And he is a pretty promising horse. Mick, Ghost Story, I want to ask you about. You rode him here in the Sandown Guineas, and you rode him at Caulfield when he won. Do you think he's capable of winning a Doncaster next year?
I think so, Bruce. He's You know, his Sandown Guineas run was very good. He didn't get any luck at all. He got forced off the track a long way from home, and he finished his race off very good. He hasn't had a lot of starts, and he's a big, strong 3-year-old. I would think that he'll come back an improved horse again, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him in all those good races.
Well, he is exciting. I'll tell you, another horse that's exciting is Baggio. He may not win the Doncaster next year, but he won the recognition yesterday at Eagle Farm, a $60,000 race, like a very, very good galloper.
A break at 3 lengths to Sunblazer Bongo Rhythm. Then Sahara Road picking up the bit and going forward. Bound to Play tracking through behind him. Then Too Many Guns, Mamselli, Full Suit, Gosse, Von Remus and Pass Me Not. Straightening up now, 450 metres left to go. Baggio still a clear-cut leader. 2 in front in second place. Bimbai, Apache Drum to the outside. Life at the top. Then Master Boss, Initiation next on the rails. They're clear of Bound to Play and Sahara Road. But Baggio's well clear, 200 metres out. 4 lengths in front. Life at the top now second. Then Bound to Play, but by gee, this bloke's kidding to them. 100 metres to go. He's 6 lengths in front, and he is blitzing him. Sharman puts away the whip and lets him cruise to the post. He's won it as he liked. Baggio first, 6 lengths. Second, Master Boss. Third, Life at the top, all Bound to Play. Then Sahara Road.
Mick, have you had a chance to see this horse? He seems to have improved out of sight.
Yes, I saw him in Sydney, Bruce, and you know, his runs were okay. He did win one day there at Canterbury. You know, he's always had a fair bit of ability. I don't know if he's always put his best foot forward in his races, but he was impressive yesterday. But I think you must remember, Bruce, too, there wasn't much behind him.
No, we're at that time of the year, aren't we, where the top horses are having a break.
In fact, you had a day off yesterday, Mick. What, saving yourself for international events these days?
I'm just having a little blow.
Oh, you've deserved it. And just finally on naturalism, Mick, there's some question now about his autumn campaign. He must, he's probably, if he's going to run in the autumn, it would be a reduced campaign at this stage. Is that the way you see it? Because it must take some time to get over the trip and the, you know, the travelling, obviously, and also the injury for him.
Yeah, I was talking to Lee, and he said that he's going to do whatever's best for the horse. He'll have a look at him after he has a bit of a break. I think he's going to spell him up there in Sydney somewhere. So I think if he feels he's done well enough, he'll bring him back and may get him ready for the Australian Cup. But I think the Cox Plate and the Japan Cup next year are his main goals.
Well, you're pretty stiff this year. Fell over in one and got pipped in the other.
Yeah.
Keith, thanks for your time, Mick, by the way, and terrific to catch up with you, mate.
Yes, it was indeed. And Bruce, naturalism heading home at this moment, actually, from Japan. And another good horse has been unearthed in New Zealand. His name is Kiwi Golfer, and yesterday at Te Arawa, he won his 11th race from 12 starts.
Gee, that's a wrap. Well, speaking of golf, Keith, you've given me the perfect in because we're going to talk to Jack Newton after the break. Good to see you back, Keith.
See you next week.
Back from the land of the rising sun. Golf coming up after this with Jack Newton.